In this video, we're going to be using PAA cold spices and the Gold Dollar 1996 with a Shults edge. Stay tuned. Hey there folks, and welcome back for another video. I'm your host CDB. Thanks so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it. And today, as mentioned before, we're going to be using PAA cold spices. And the reason is because our good friend Dave in Augusta sent us this vintage, it's like a spyglass. And this is slab full of the old Shulton Old Spice. Thanks so much, Dave. I really appreciate it. He had sent me some vintage Old Spice before in this container. And I was saying, I got to be careful with that because there's not much. And he's like, don't worry, I got you. And I really appreciate that, Dave. Dave from Augusta, thanks so much. Anyway, we're using this cold spices today because it smells like Old Spice, and it's got some menthol in it. This comes to you from PAA for $14.95 for 4 ounces, or $3.73 on our cost chart there, which is a good price. We'll show you the ingredients right there. Really good quality soap. This is in the regular Crown King formula, which is plenty enough for me. And again, this smells like Old Spice. Scent strength for me, right at medium. Really nice. And if you like this, the scent of classic Old Spice, I think you'll like this cold spice from PAA. The razor for today is Gold Dollar 1996, which I got off Amazon, and I sent to Mr. Shults, and he put his edge on it. If you're interested in the progression, I'll pop it down here for you. He used Shapton 5K, 2K, 4K, 6K, 8K, and then took it to the Nanois 12K, and then he did some stropping on abrasive paste and so on and so forth. So we look forward to trying this edge from Mr. Shults today. Thank you very much, Mr. Shults. And enough babbling, let's get into it. This is just plain tap water. I will link the products, by the way, that I use, including this. And the purpose of this is just to mist my face. And you can see we have our standard 24 hours of growth. And we just simply apply water to the face. And we've got our, today, PAA Amber Aerolite brush, which is synthetic with our trusty Captain's Choice bowl. And I think I've got some decent hydration in the cold spices today. So we look forward to hopefully having an excellent shave if I do my job properly. We shall see. I can't guarantee it. You know, that goes. Every day is a new challenge. And for me, part of the fun of this hobby is the variety of trying different razors, different things, and sort of challenging myself a little bit. Now, we all stick close to home in terms of brands and scents we like, but you know, we have a lot of the things we love the most. But I like variety very much in my routine. I'm not a one razor guy. I like the challenge of seeing if I can get a great shave with all different types of razors and soaps. With brushes, I'm not gonna lie, I just really prefer synthetics, although Dave from Augusta also sent me a great vintage badger brush that I love. I'll use that soon. And we've got a good lather there with our cold spices. Terrific scent. Let's cut that down a little bit. We don't need it all the way down to our collarbone. And let's make sure we dry the hands, because you always want to make sure you start with dry hands, especially when using a straight razor. But any razor, you don't want to drop your razor or slip. So we'll get our hands dry and we'll take our first few strokes here with Mr. Shults' edge. And again, I got this from this particular Gold Dollar from Amazon.com. Very nice. First few strokes there. Feeling very nice indeed. And I have used Mr. Shults' edge before, Mike. And he puts in a good edge on a razor, I tell you that. Very nice. And this only went up to the Nanois 12K. And to me, that says something. Because it sort of proves that you can have a synthetic finish. And this doesn't feel rough at all. So whatever you did, Mr. Shults, Mike, it's feeling sharp. But it is not the least bit toothy. And that is often the claim with synthetic stones. People say they're a little on the rough side, but Mike here on his edge has delivered a smooth synthetic finish. And only up to 12K. And a lot of people say, you know, 12K, You can shave off it, but it's not great. I must say, that side felt very, very good. So, I am a fan of Mike's edge. It is one of the best edges that I've used. His other edge he sent to me was phenomenal, and I've got 2 more to try. And again, we're stretching, and I'll talk a little bit about stretching too, for those of you who are new to straight razor shaving. One of the things about stretching, and you can do that by pulling, inflating your cheeks, different things. There are times to stretch, and there are times where stretching makes it a liability. So I know a lot of times you'll hear people say, you gotta stretch, you gotta stretch, you gotta stretch. And you do, but keep in mind, in some cases, stretching will create a hollow. That's something that Maddie Lindholm taught me. That you have to really watch how you're stretching and see whether or not it's beneficial, depending on where you're stretching from. So it's not just stretching. And sometimes you can stretch by just lifting your head like so. And all you're trying to do is present a more smooth surface. You're not trying to stretch so much that the beard retracts into the skin, which it can do if you overstretch. So I'm stretching by a pull down here just slightly and lifting my head. And all I'm trying to do is to provide a more smooth surface. I'm not trying to stretch so much that it's so tight that the beard retracts. Doug Bear taught me that. You can overstretch and then you cause the beard to sort of retract. And you see how if I put my hand right here, it creates a hollow right there. Maddie taught me that. If I put it right here, it creates a hollow there. So you sort of have to pull just to get it taut, but not so much that it creates a hollow. The idea is to provide a flat surface, as flat as reasonably possible. And if you do that, it helps. If you overstretch, it hurts. And so when you hear, you gotta stretch, you gotta stretch, you gotta stretch, that is correct. But you can also overstretch, and that can be a liability. So watch how you're stretching and see what it's actually doing. And honestly, I have not always been great with that. I try to work on it every single shave. And that's part of the joy of shaving with straight razors, learning to get better as you go along and learning what stretching works well. And the way I stretch may not work well for you, and so on and so forth. Your face is going to be unique. So you have to figure out where it's advantageous to stretch. One of the things I don't do well is move my stretch point to sort of get the best out of my stretching. So sometimes as I'm going up, I'll forget to move the stretch point up and I'm holding way down here, and that's not going to help way up here typically. So it might be a good idea just to stand in front of the mirror and just sort of pull your face in different places and see what the effect is. This soap is great. I'm getting the menthol cooling, Old Spice Classic scent. Can't beat it. We have a great edge here. I tell you what, it doesn't get much more enjoyable than this. And again, I want to thank everyone for all your kind words, your comments. And again, right now, slightly pulling here, looking up. And that is stretching. It's not always about pulling hard. And that's something that I really can't emphasize enough. You don't always have to pull hard. You just want the skin to be taut, but not overly tight. Because again, it can become a liability. And one of the things, again, that I'm not great at is moving that stretch point up a little bit, following the strokes, you know, like I'm moving up. That's something you should be doing when it's advantageous. And sometimes I just don't do a very good job of it because you develop habits and then you sort of follow whatever habits you develop. So if from the beginning you can develop some good habits in your stretching, effective stretching, not only not stretching just to be stretching, but effective stretching that's actually working for you. Here, it will create a hollow there too. So sometimes you have to ease up on it a little bit. And again, that's one of the things that Maddie Lindholm told me. And he actually showed me in a video. And this is why we talk so much about Maddie Lindholm. Is because he offers his expertise. And he wants to see everyone getting better. You see right there where that skin rolled a little bit? that means I'm not stretching enough. But also if you pull down here, it creates the hollow. So you might have to move it over here. You might have to pull it this way. Just experiment and find the places that stretching works best for you, but don't overdo it. That is my advice, because you can overstretch. And you will, I think over time, sort of learn what feels right to you. And it may not look right to other people, but if it's working, that is okay. But be careful not to overdo it. You can not stretch enough, or you can stretch too much. And it's not rocket science. You just continue to experiment until it works well. And I tell you what, this edge is fantastic. Only up to the 12K, and I say only because some people take it all the way up to a 30K, or they put it on, you know, finishers well beyond 12K. And I must say, this is doing a great job. I've never shaved strictly off the Nananois 12K. And I'm going to tell you right now, there's nothing uncomfortable about this edge. So those folks who say you can't really get a comfortable edge off a synthetic stone, I don't believe that's true. Or I know it's not true for me, because I'm feeling it right now. I mean, this edge proves that for me. Also, I've used the Sprecher edge before, and he finishes on a Shafton 30, I believe. And that was quite comfortable. You see here where I'm sort of following up? I forget to do that sometimes. And again, sometimes I'm creating hollows by not paying attention. Just, you know, sort of work on that. It's something that I'm still working on. I'm still I would consider myself an adolescent in my stage of straight razor shaving. You know, I'm not in the toddler stage anymore, but I'm sure not a grown-up. You know, at only maybe, in the last year or last 8 or 9 months, 130 some straight razor shaves. I'm still what I would call an adolescent in my technique and development. And again, that's really part of the fun for me, is learning and using different things. It's very nice to dial in a piece of gear and get good with it. But I also find that you improve by using lots of different things and being presented with many different challenges, different types of edges, different types of razors. And you learn what your skin will tolerate and adjust to those things. And variety for me is very, very enjoyable. And just dealing with the, you know, nuances of the variety and how things are slightly different in some cases. Blades are different, edges are different. It's been fun for me to just try lots of things. And I have gone through periods where I use the same things a lot, you know, off cam. And I found that to be very enjoyable. But I also enjoy the variety, trying different things day in, day out, and seeing how you do. Seeing if you can be good with a little of everything. That's a challenge for me that I try to it's a challenge that I try to live up to. I don't always do it. I'm not always great. Sometimes I get sloppy. But I can tell you right now, this edge is well done. Again, it's the first time I've shaved strictly off a Nananois 12K, and it's a good edge. This Mike Shults, he knows how to hone a razor. I'm going to tell you right now. He is definitely one of the guys that, for me, he would be a go-to guy for honing. I'm going to tell you, because I just really appreciate his edges. Very nice. The last edge that he sent me was one of the best edges that I tried in all of 2020. And so when I mentioned that, he had a very humble response, you know, but I'm telling you, he knows what he's doing. And I need to get on the phone and talk to him and just sort of see if I can unearth a few nuggets of that knowledge and use myself, because This edge right here is a very good combination of smoothness and sharpness, and there is no compromise in either. So I'm really liking it, and it is I think this is an edge that would be enjoyed by new people and experienced people alike because it brings a good combination. It's not the sharpest edge that I've ever tried, but it is sharp. It's not the smoothest edge that I've ever tried, but it's smooth. The combination of both is one of the better combinations of the two that I have personally tried, which was also sort of a characteristic of the last edge that I tried of his. And so I know he's quite humble, but this is a gentleman that I think, should he wish to hone for people, oops, see, you see right there, it's a good example of me not stretching and just holding that skin a little bit, not too tight. What you don't want to have happen is to have your skin bunch up and then cut it. That's the danger of not stretching enough. So don't do that. And sometimes I get sloppy when I'm talking. And really, if you're learning, the best way you can learn is probably to do it off cam if you're someone who makes videos, because you can focus completely on the shave without talking. I recorded all of mine so you could learn with me, you know, but it's not the best way to learn. Because you get distracted, and sometimes I'll nick myself because I'm busy flapping my gums. And straight razor shaving does require a lot more focus. There's no question about that. But I'm going to tell you right now, this was a phenomenal edge. Excellent combination of smoothness, refined, well done. Woo. It's one of the best edges I've tried, as the last one I tried from Mr. Shults was one of the best edges. Mr. Shults was one of the best edges I've tried. No BS. All right. Excellent shave there. I'm very happy with it. Let me rinse. We'll come back, get into the post. Stay tuned. All right, and we're back with the magic made by witches. And I'm going to tell you, folks, that was a really excellent shave. No nicks, cuts, creepers, weepers, irritation, bubble, troubles. The edge was phenomenal. Mr. Shults, you have done it again. And you have proven to me that you can shave off the 12K with a very comfortable, nice shave. He did a great job on this edge. Thank you very much, Mr. Shults. I really appreciate it. Sorry for bumping the camera there. We used today the PAA Cold Spices beautiful Old Spice scent. This was Thayer's Witch Hazel with cucumber. Off cam, we used the PAA Alum with Dry Dock, almost no stinging. Just a beautiful, beautiful shave. The type of shave that you really should be happy with, or I'm really happy with. We used the PAA Amber Aerolite brush, Captain's Choice bowl. Oh, and by the way, I'm going to have a video later today with my favorite 10 PAA soaps, because that was requested. So check that out about maybe 3:30 or so Eastern time today. So I hope you'll come back and check that out. My top 10, or favorite 10, I should say, PAA soaps. And we're going to finish it off today with the Old Spice. I'm not going to get it out of here because I still have some in here. So we're just going to spray a little in the hand here, and then we're going to apply it to the face. And this is the good stuff right here, the old Shults formula. Thank you so much, Dave, from Augusta. He is a great guy, and I really, really appreciate this. Thanks to you also for watching. I appreciate you very much. Until next time, I've been your host, CDB, wishing you great shaves, and I'm reminding you, it's your shave, do it your way. As always, God bless.